As they ran down the first floor, Tyson thought he could buy the others time by beating up Campe. When they turned a corner, Percy heard an angry roar. He glanced back and saw Tyson catching up to them at full speed. But Campe was still right behind them. "Hurry!" Annabeth shouted, as if they needed to be told that. They finally found their way back to the cell, where they had come in, but the back wall was completely smooth, no sign of a boulder or anything. "Look for the mark," Annabeth said. Then Grover touched a tiny scratch on the wall, and a blue delta symbol glowed in its place, and the stone wall slid open. Tyson was coming down the catwalk with Campe still charging behind him. Percy knew he wasn't going to make it without help. All he needed was a distraction. Then, he threw his shield at the monster's face. She faltered just long enough for Tyson to make it into the tunnel. Campe charged, but she was too late. The stone door slammed shut and its magic sealed the opening. They felt the whole tunnel shake as Campe pounded against it and roaring furiously. They didn't stick around to play knock-knock, so they raced into the darkness. For the first time, and probably the last time, Percy was glad to be back in the maze. They walked down a new path that led to a room full of waterfalls leading into one big pit.
"This pit goes straight to Tartarus," said Briareus. "I should jump in and save you the trouble."
"Don't talk that way," Annabeth told him. "You can come with us back to camp. You can help us prepare. You know more about fighting titans than anybody."
"I have nothing to offer," Briareus said. "I have lost everything. Even all my brothers have completely faded."
"Wait, what exactly do you mean, they faded?" Percy asked. "I thought monsters were immortal like the gods." "Percy," Grover said weakly, "even immortality has limits. Sometimes monsters get forgotten and enough that even they lose their will to stay immortal." Looking at Grover's face, he wondered if he was thinking of Pan. Then Percy remembered something Medusa had told them once, how her sister, their two other Gorgons, had passed on and left her alone. Then last year, Apollo said something about the old god Helios disappearing and leaving him with the duties of the sun god. Percy never thought about it too much, but now, looking at Briareus, he realized how terrible it would be to be so old, thousands and thousands of years old and totally alone.
"I must go," Briareus said.
"Kronos' army will invade camp," Tyson told him. "We need help. You are strong."
"Not anymore."
"Hey," Percy said, "in case you haven't noticed, Tyson believes in you." Then he explained to him about their situation. Luke and his army, Daedalus' workshop, Kronos' coffin.
"I cannot help you," Briareus said. "I don't have enough finger guns for this battle."
"Maybe that's why the monsters fade," said Percy. "Maybe it's not just because of what mortals believe. You just give up on yourself." Then he turned and trudged down the corridor until he was lost in the shadows. Tyson sobbed. "It's okay, big guy," Grover said, which must have taken all of his strength. Tyson sneezed and said,
"He was my hero."
Percy wanted to make him feel better, but wasn't sure what to do. "Guys," Annabeth said, "we really should get moving. This pit is making me nervous. Let's find a better place to camp for the night." Minutes later, they found a corridor made of marble. It looked like it could have been part of a Greek tomb. It had to be an older part of the maze, and Annabeth decided that that was a good sign. "We must be close," she said. "Let's get some rest. We'll keep going until the morning." How exactly do we know when it's morning?" Grover asked. "I don't know," said Annabeth. "We'll just keep resting until we feel rested." Annabeth took the first watch. Grover dozed off almost immediately, but Tyson and Percy took a little longer. "I'm so sorry I lost the shield," Percy told him. "You worked so hard to repair it."
"Don't worry, brother. You saved me. You wouldn't have had to if Briaris had helped.
Percy tried to fall asleep, but Campe was stuck in his head, which made it real hard to relax. He got up and scooted his bedroll next to where Annabeth was sitting. "Percy, you should sleep," she said. "I can't," he said. "You doing all right?" "Sure. First day leading the quest? Just great." "Hey," he said. "We'll get there. We'll find the workshop before Luke does." She brushed a hand through her hair, and Percy imagined what she must have looked like when she was little, wandering around the country with Luke and their old friend Thalia Grace, back when she was only 7. Even when she looked scared, like now, he knew she had a lot of guts. "I just wish the quest was logical," she complained. "I mean, we're traveling through the Labyrinth, but we have no idea where we'll end up. How can you walk from New York to California in a day?" "Space isn't the same in the Labyrinth." I know, it's just... Percy, I was just kidding myself with all that planning and reading. I don't have a clue where we're going." "We never know what we're doing anyway," Percy said, "but it always works out, and you're doing great. Remember Circe's Island?" She snorted. "You made a cute guinea pig." "And Waterland? How you got us thrown off that ride?" "I got us thrown off? That was totally your fault." "See? It'll be fine." She smiled, which he was glad to see, but the smile faded quickly. "Percy, what did Hera mean when she said you knew the way through the maze?" "I honestly don't know," he answered. Maybe what? Maybe if you tell me the last line in the prophecy, it might help." "Not here," said Annabeth. "Not in the dark." "What about the choice Janus mentioned? You know, 'cause Hera said..." "Stop!" Annabeth snapped. "I'm sorry, Percy. I'm just stressed, but I gotta think about it." They sat in silence, listening to the creaks and groans in the maze, also the echo of stones grinding together as tunnels changed, grew, and expanded. The dark made Percy think of the visions he'd seen of Nico, and suddenly realized something. "Nico's down here somewhere," Percy said. "That's how he disappeared from camp. He found the labyrinth. Then he found a path that led down even further to the underworld, but now he's back in the maze. He's coming after me." Annabeth was quiet for a long time. "I just hope you're wrong, Percy, but if you're right..." She stared into the dark hallway. He had a feeling she was thinking about her prophecy. He'd never seen her look more tired. "How about I take the first watch?" he said. "I'll wake you if anything happens." Annabeth looked like she wanted to protest, but she just said, "All right." Then she slumped down in her bedroll and closed her eyes.